Hey guys, what's up? So one of the cool things about this world is all the diversity that we have, all the different choices and types of music that we can discover and are exposed to, and what is ends up being something really poignant and meaningful to one person doesn't mean anything to anyone else. And I find that just very fascinating. And so with that in mind, I'd like to show you some albums that all came out in 1982 because it's just such a interesting thing to look at, kind of the spanning of just the realm of how different things can be. So we'll start off here with Rush's Signals. Subdivision's kind of the popular song off that one. Roxy Music's Avalon. More Than This, great track. How about this one? Phil Collins, Hello, I Must Be Going. With You Can't Hurry Love. No, you just have to wait. Same year that came out, we had Love My Way from the Psychedelic Furs on their Forever Now album. Killer. Then we had Brian Eno's Ambient 4 on Land. How about that? Phil Collins actually played some drums and percussion on various Brian Eno's albums, so there's a little connection there. And then how about Bauhaus? The Sky's Gone Out. Opening track on this one, Third Uncle, is actually a Brian Eno song. So there's connections between all of these, and although they're diverse from one another, there's still connections. All those while I'm wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt, so it just shows you how many choices we have and how varied music can be. And to think that all came out the same year as Virgin Prunes' I Die, I Die is quite a cool thing. Virgin Prunes, Dublin, Ireland band, 1977 formed. This came out in 82, their first album. Now I cannot talk about the Virgin Prunes without talking about a really well-known band. So Gavin Friday, Guggy, two frontmen, founders of the band, were best friends with a guy named Paul Hewson. Paul Hewson, Bono from U2. Virgin Prunes guitar player Dick Evans, his brother Dave Evans, The Edge from U2. So lots of connections. They all grew up together, best friends, etc. If I Die, I Die. This is on Rough Trade. As I said, it's their debut album, and it's produced by Colin Newman of the band Wire. I'll just pull it out here so you can see. Nice brown side and the blue side, and that theme carries over onto the labels. I first heard of the Virgin Prunes back when I was a teenager, and I was reading a YouTube biography sometime in the 80s, I believe it was, late 80s. And all these references to this band, the Virgin Prunes, were made, and I was so fascinated. And I went out and looked for it, and it's pretty hard to find stuff, especially back then, and it was all expensive. It was all import, so the CDs were very, very expensive to find. I remember going into a record store, and they had all the spines were all lined up, and they were each a little Virgin Prunes album that came out. I think it was on a label called New Rose, and they were all lined up, but they were all really expensive, and to this day I still go back and look for them, but they're all gone. But I will show you, stick around, because I'm going to show you the rest of my Virgin Prune stuff. But what was I going to say? Yes, so that's how I got exposed to them. Finally was able to track down If I Die, I Die. And to describe the Virgin Prunes is super difficult. To label them is impossible, and it's pointless because they combine so many elements. Their live performance, for those of you that were fortunate to catch them live, I never did, of course, but from videos, photographs, from their recordings, from live recordings, I mean, it was just quite a spectacle. Just performance art. You know, there's elements of post-punk, art rock, cabaret, just really out of control stuff. Great album. There was one single that came out from this one called Baby Turns Blue. Kind of a minor club hit. You can still hear it to this day if you go into, a lot of golf clubs play it. And it's just a killer track. There was also a 12-inch remix single of that same song. They just changed the name to The Faculties of the Broken Heart, and it was a remix single. It had a couple non-album B-sides on it. And then there was another non-album single which came out just around the same time, which was produced by a guy named Nick Launay, who produced Midnight Oil, The Church, Public Image Limited, Killing Joke, In Excess, Nick Cave, just a lot of stuff. And that was Pagan Love Song. And this is their most well-known track. Probably the first song I ever heard by them. It just killer. This is also on Rough Trade, I believe. Yeah, this is on Rough Trade. My copy's pretty tore up here, but I just listened to it and it sounds killer. And there it is. It's got another non-album track called David is Dead on the B-side, along with a different mix of Pagan Love Song. Just killer stuff. Really cool bass line, just a really cool groove, just some total out of control vocal play between Gavin Friday and Guggy. Sorry, I'm having a little hard time with that. I'm just going to leave this down here. But let me see else what I wanted to cover here before I get to some other stuff. Yeah, so Baby Turns Blue was the only single. Now, Mute in 2004, so those of you guys that are watching this that are like, I never heard the Virgin Prunes, I want to check them out. And if you can't track down their vinyl, which is pretty hard to find, Mute reissued their whole catalog, remastered with the blessings of the band, so they were involved in it. And this is the 2004 edition on Mute of If I Die, I Die. And really cool because it actually adds all the B-sides that were on the singles, along with some other random tracks, but it has Pagan Love Song on it, which wasn't on If I Die, I Die, although a lot of people think it was, because there was I think a late 80s, early 90s CD reissue that put it in the track listing, but it was not on the original album. But it has some of the B-sides like, what is it, Chance of a Lifetime, Yeo, David is Dead, and then a weird track, like a non-album, I don't even think this was a B-side, it was called Fado. But check it out as a booklet with all the lyrics, which is cool. And since they weren't included in the original LP. So that's that one. And my favorite tracks on this album, Walls of Jericho immediately comes to mind. That's just such a killer song. Baby Turns Blue, excellent. Let me pull out the sleeve here. Decline and Fall, Sweet Home Under White Clouds, great. Just a really intriguing album. You know, not sure if it's for everyone, but it's definitely worth hearing one time. And if you can track this down or look up some YouTube clips on it, I think it will take a special place in your collection, because it's definitely a cherished one in mine. I pull this out frequently, and it's just such a great piece of music. Let me show you some other things. The band was really productive, and in the same exact year, they put out this double 10-inch box called Heresy. And what's really fascinating about this is that one of the records was actually, the songs were written the day that they wrote all the songs in the daytime, and then went in the studio and recorded them all at night. And I'll pull out one of the 10 inches here because the labels on it are very cool. And this was on that record label, Invitation to Suicide, French label. And the second disc is a live show from, I think it was from 1982 as well. So that's definitely a cool thing. I'm so glad I picked that up when I did, because I've never seen one since. Their second album, which was recorded in 1984, but it didn't end up getting released till 1986, and it was produced by Dave Ball from the band Soft Cell, was The Moon Looked Down and Laughed. Now, and this was one of the New Rose. Hey, this is one of those New Rose ones I was talking about, the Spine. But I picked this up, I think, at a shop in Carlsbad, California. Actually, it was Spin Records there. I remember getting this sometime in the 90s. And I saw a vinyl copy of this about a year ago, and I didn't buy it, and I regret it ever since because it's so hard to track down. This was also remastered, so you can definitely pick this up. This is a really interesting album because it's more mellow, kind of more like ballads, but like really kind of sinisterish nursery rhyme type ballads. Really unique. And there's just a killer single from this one that I used to listen to this all the time. And this is Our Love Will Last Forever, Love Lasts Forever, Until the Day It Dies. And this is on Touch and Go Records. And it looks like I got this in '96 for $3. Yeah, wow, cool label on that one. So that was the single from that album. And then there is also another 12-inch I have for Don't Look Back, also on Touch and Go Records. Oh my god, I gotta show you that. Anyways, cool label right there. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention that's really also another interesting fact is that Guggy, whose name is Derek Rowan, his real name, his brother is Peter Rowan, who's now a photographer, but all you guys know him without actually perhaps knowing that you know who he is. But he was the kid that was on the U2's War album and also on Boy. So that is Peter Rowan right there. Anyways, thought that was a cool little connection. So let me see if there's anything else I want to talk to you guys about. No, I think that about wraps it up. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Virgin Prunes, you know, it's a band that I've carried with me since my early teenage years, and they're really a highly unique musical experience. The original run of the band broke up in '86 when Gavin Friday left the band. They carried on as the Prunes, and I think they ended up calling it quits in 1990. I don't own any of this stuff after Gavin had left the band, but they did. Guggy is now an artist. Gavin Friday has had a really cool career, solo albums. He worked on movie soundtracks. He did some of the songs along with Bono in that movie In the Name of the Father, which was really cool. Him and Bono did this collaborative Peter and the Wolf, where it was all recited by Gavin Friday, and Bono, along with his daughters, did all the artwork and illustrations for that, which was really cool. And I think it was a fundraising charity release, which I don't have, but I remember seeing it and watching and seeing photographs of the whole process, and it was really just a cool thing. But I think that wraps it up. So let me just show you this cover one more time here. Virgin Prunes. If I die, I die. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.